Okay, this is going to be a very quick video just to showcase some of the new features I'm working for Wusik Station version 8, Wusik 8000 and even Wusik 4000. Is the new beta version, beta version. And on Wusik Station I have done some work already and already published some files. I'm going to publish the other products here tomorrow. And one other thing is I'm going to show you the new effects. You can use an insert or a send effect, the VST effect. This is a wrapper code I did. Once you have loaded, you just select here file you want to load from a directory I'm going to show you in a minute. And it loads all the parameters, and it also auto maps the parameters. If they have zero values, it's going to use a pop-up menu, just a knob. It works pretty well, and you can also use modulation. Like master, because those two, the sound effects are master effects. Here on the left, advise not to hit the effect. So I'm going to use just an LFO and this the effect low pass. I have to change this for the studio. So I have the LFO. I'm going to select LFO. Go to okay. Very easy to use. Another option I'm adding is to click somewhere in the input envelope or any modulation envelopes and select ADS-R mode, just attack, decay, sustain, release mode. And it's going to show the 4 options here. And now it's just 4 faders. You can see the envelope being drawn, 4 options. And this is also used by the legacy presets, or the legacy. Going to load and exit by clicking and releasing the mouse without moving. Very easy to use this envelope option. And then if you want to do something more complex, here select exit. But now if I go to the ADSR mode again, it's going to delete all the last nodes. I'm not going to use the ADSR mode. Here again, it deletes the other nodes because it has to, otherwise the code doesn't work with the option I'm. So if you want just to use this type of envelope, it's easier to do this. One thing to notice is that the new effect VST option, it's also going to work on Wusik 4000 and Wusik to release. Let me show quickly. So what happens is here on the data folder, the Wusik station data folder, you have two folders. Is on the Windows version. You have the 32 bits VSTs and the 64 bits VSTs. I'm running the 64-bit version here. Only load the 64-bit VSTs, no bridge. But I'm going to check later if I can use a JBridge. I have to contact the developer to see if you can arrange something, or you just can purchase from his and use it yourself. On the Mac version, you just have the VST effects instead, because the Mac VST files are one file for both 32 and 64-bit. So on the 30-bit version, I already have all the MDA effects here. I have to convert those to check. Someone wants on this. Let me show the 32-bit. Here, since the 32-bit version has more options, modulating. So it's very easy to here. Changes. So what do I have? Alright, already talked about the micro on the and to have something change there. Oh yes, I forgot. Okay, if I on the ADSR mode, there is another option on modulation that I can use the attack decay and release as a modulation destination. Was too wet for effect and effectiveness. Another thing I forgot to mention. Voice is cutting off. Oh, could be the microphone. I just hope the video is still working. Anyway, let me check. Could be that there is a gate. Maybe now it's a bit better. I removed the. There is actually a gate effect added, so maybe that was it. But there's another thing here. I'm still learning. On my microphone, I think the microphone level is low. I think now it's louder, but it's going to catch all the effects. Let me see filters here again. Noise gate. Okay, now does it still sound good now? Because I raised the volume of the microphone, and anyway, I'm going to start over. Just a quick try. and talk about again the new options. One thing to notice on the VST effect is that if you have selected the VST, you can click and select effect options and process MIDI input. I haven't tested that, but I think it's possible to chain actual other synths on this. You're just not going to open the interface and stuff like that because it's not what's the purpose here. So, but it should work. But by default, it's not going to process any MIDI input, so you have to select this if you're using an effect that requires that. In any case, you can see here the amplitude envelope mode I'm talking about. You can enter and exit the mode, and you can also modulate the envelope, decay, attack, and sustain. And let me check other things. The video is much better now. I had a fight with my ISP and I got a much better upload speed now. And also I'm no longer using that gimmick to hide my background that used too much CPU usage on the computer. Okay, anyway, I was talking again. So we have the ADSR mode, which I like it. It can be very useful depending on the type of preset you're doing. I personally don't like very much the graphical envelopes, but sometimes you really need it because you can do some reverse envelope and stuff like that. For that, I like. But sometimes you just want the classic attack, decay, sustain, release. And then you have the VST. I was talking about the place to put the files. So on Windows you have the 32 thanks man. The 32 bits effects go here on the VST effects 32. This is on Windows. On the Mac you don't have two direct folders. You have just the VST effects because on the Mac one file can hold both 32 and 64 bit files. On Windows it doesn't work like that. I don't know why, but you know, gotta love Windows. Anyway, you have those two folders that you put your effects there. And one thing to keep in mind if you plan to create presets to give to friends or whatever, just don't put on the name here like 32 bits on the name. Just put the actual effect name and see if you have another 64-bit version and put it here too, and give this to the person who is going to use the preset. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Because if you say like that, if you, for instance, the studio reverbs you find on our site has something like this. If I don't recall correctly, if I recall correctly, and I just remove it to make the both 32 bits and 64 bits files the same name. So the preset is going to use just this part of the name here. Just not going to work on a Mac because we don't have Mac versions of these particular files, but I can work on that later on. And I have to work on the MDA effects too. They have Mac versions. I have to test if the plugin hosting is working correctly. So that's going to be next. I'm also going to work on some other bugs that user send me some videos about. I'm going to work on those. I'm going to work more on the legacy presets. I know it's been a long time, but well, watch the other videos and you're going to understand what I'm talking about. So anyway, I think for this video, as for those options, there's not much more I can say. The VST effect, it can you will process up to 14 parameters, and will try to auto map to knobs, on-off switch buttons, or the menu buttons. And on the Wusik 8000 are going to be 24 parameters, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to talk this on another time during the week. And well, What else can I talk about now? Today is going to be just this quick video. So if you don't have any other questions, this is not loading my 32-bit files here. That's why it's showing error. Presets? No presets yet. But I should be able to be working on that soon. I just don't know how I will implement it, but possibly going to be another menu here. I don't know yet. Like load the presets from the actual effect I think you mean. I have to add that option. I was thinking on that early today, this morning. But it's not hard. I just have to figure out where I'm going to put it. Probably another menu here, like effect options and effect presets, and load at least the first 24. I don't know, just so it doesn't go crazy when you open it up like 254 menu options here. But it actually should be okay because some options here do have a lot of menu options. I think it's on the sample player, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it auto maps correctly. So I may just do like this. You have to remember me that, but I should be doing this after this video. And another thing I have to do is when you load the effect here on the modulation, we actually show the name of the effect here instead of VST effect. The parameters is already loading up correctly, and here on the top it's loading the correct name too. Just some minor stuff. I was working very late yesterday and the day before because this was not very easy to do. It sure looks easy, but it was not easy for me at least. Maybe for some other people to code it's not hard, but I have some problems with a few things. I have to check why the numbers here are so tiny. But I think I know what it is. I have to limit the number of decimal points after the zero, after point, like 1.0000000. I have to limit that because on some effects it shows like from 0 to 127, so it's a very big number here to read, and this way is not good. I have to fix that too. And I have to check there is a bug on the EDCR mode. I don't know yet. I haven't saw the video the user sent me. But overall, as I was playing with the product, I fixed some errors too. It was very stable. It didn't crash a single time for me, and I did play a lot, so it's good. And I hope it stays stable. I did some fixes on the filters here, selection too. Just some minor things like before, if you were editing like the second effect here and the second filter, and you went to the modulation area and back again, it would be on the first filter and first effect. Just some minor stuff. I actually have to put this on the change list. Talking about the change list, let me see what else. But I think it's for this version is pretty much that. Add sequence to every in-game. I didn't understand the question. Could it maybe explain a bit better? I don't know. The sample player to wave sequencer. Okay. Oh no, the wave sequencer is a bit hard. because it expects the sample player is not going to work very well with the other codes I have for like the super slater and stuff like that. Even on Wusik 8000, if we use the wave sequencer with another modulation, is just going to be like an arpeggiator. But it's not actually bad question itself. The main problem is that it will require some interface change, and the guy who was helping me with the interface is busy now. But sure, it could be done because it's just a piece of code that I attach when to the layer when the wave sequencer is selected. This is going to take a bit longer to be done. But I think you could call this something else like advanced arpeggiator or something like that, because it's not going to be really a wave sequencer, more like an advanced arpeggiator. Um, but it's a good question actually, because what's going to happen is that you're going to have, well, the layer is not going to work, time works fine, volume 10 I think could work, sample star doesn't work, octave is going to work, tuning is going to work, well, the modulations could work, sure. I'm going to check on that, but the tuning from super oscillator, well, you have the unison option. I don't know if you're talking about that, like I'll load the Wave oscillator and use the unison. And it just does the same thing as the super oscillator. Actually, no, it doesn't do the same thing because it doesn't stereo spread, I think. But that's a bit more complicated to implement, because it will change the voice path, audio voice path on the object. So I don't know if that's a bit more hard to introduce, but maybe some other time I can. Oh yes, and Sony is only monophonic. No, that's not going to change so soon. Sorry, but because it's very hard to modify the code. That's why I created a super oscillator. But what I could do is later add some other options for polyphonic unison, but not right now. It's very hard because the way I code it, my own fault, I know. But the other things are going to do. You can expect that. So, well, today I'm not going to talk very long because I have to work on these other things, and tomorrow is my day off. Yes, the Super Slater has this option for selecting voices. I've seen some other scenes that you select unison and you can select how many voices you're going to use for unison. I could do this at some later time. Maybe I just right click on the unison and select the number of voice, or something like that, so you don't have to change the skin of the interface skin. But it's going to take a bit more longer because I want to focus more on the bugs, because some people complain about some problems that are very old, and I'm going to try to work on those as soon as possible. And it's pretty much it right now. I have to already have some stuff to work, and maybe next week around Tuesday or Thursday. Yes, okay. Around Tuesday or Thursday, maybe I'm going to do some more live videos, and I'm going to tell on Facebook about it. Today I was not going to make such long videos, just going to talk just about the beta version, beta. I don't know how to say that. Beta. Here in Portuguese you say beta. Thanks, man. I'm sure trying to work as much as I can. And okay, if you want to talk something, if you want to ask something about the project so far, I can still reply. Otherwise, I'm going to just end this video for today. And then you talk some other time. You can also write on the forum. Mm, for those who doesn't know our forum, I just put it on the chat area. But it's mostly is this link forum.wusik.com. Okay, today I'm not going to rest, not so early, just tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to rest because my wife has a uh, daybreak rest from work tomorrow, and I'm going to be with her. And Monday I'm just start work again. And well, I think that's it. And then I'm going to also work on the VST uh, versions of the old Wusik Station version 7 effects, so you can have day off. Okay, thanks. So you can have on Windows and a Mac those older effects. Maybe I'm just going to add as a native effect or just as a VST effect and just put for free on the site for the people want to use it, because there are some pretty good effects. I just have to organize my files so I can do several of these portings very quickly without messing up and stuff like that. Well, okay. So have a nice weekend, and for those watching this video on YouTube or whatever, hope you enjoy and subscribe to both my channels on Twitch and YouTube. You just have to go on the Wusik site. There's a live link right on the top, and you can also visit live.wusik.com, live.wusik.com, and there's the link for the YouTube channel too. And that's it. Thanks for everything. Sign off.